Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Clinique's Sunscreen Fluid for face in the 30 SPF and also the 50 SPF. We're going to be reviewing it and see if this actually is up to snuff. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please keep on watching. Thank you for coming back. I wanted to talk about these two sunscreens because I have actually been using them for a bit now and I really like them. And I wanted to do the review, but for some reason time just kept on slipping by and I wasn't able to do it. So now that I've been using it for a while, I feel that I have a really good understanding as to whether I like it or not. And the difference is that I feel that each one has. Is one better than the other? Are they the same? The coverage is 30-50. Does that really matter? I mean, it's basically up to you. I personally prefer to use something 50 and up, but I will use something 30 if it's a good price, you know, to be honest. And if I haven't tried it and I want to see what it is like. So that's when I came to this mineral sunscreen. It's this tiny little bottle. But this tiny little bottle actually does last a very long time because it's very liquidy. It's very liquidy and it's very runny. It's very easy to apply. Now when applying this on my skin, it is runny and very fluid as it says, so it's easy to spread around the face. And it does have a bit of a white cast. It's not very strong, but it does have a white cast. And I personally it didn't bother me because I was able to see where I was applying and where I maybe possibly have missed. So after a few minutes, I would say about 5 minutes, rubbing it in, I started to see that it did disappear. Now, as far as my hairline, I didn't have any problems with it sticking to any of the hairs or on my eyebrows. So that's great. And this is a mineral sunscreen, so I have found that some mineral sunscreens do tend to do that, but this one did not, thank goodness. So I'm going to be coming back at the end of my day to talk about how it sat under my skin, because I really want to look at my skin and test it and just critique it as best I can. Even though I do love it, you know, that doesn't mean that I don't want to like really examine how it does sit under my skin. And especially under my eyes and under certain makeup. And yeah, so I'll be right back. I'm back. So I've been wearing this now for about 4 to 5 hours and I have been indoors pretty much for the whole day. And on my right hand side I'm wearing the 50 SPF and on my left hand side, I'm wearing the 30 SPF. My dry spots, I didn't have any issues with them. I was able to put them on my dry spots. Right now I have a little bit of dryness around my nose from blowing my nose. And it was no problem, no issue. It didn't emphasize them. If anything, it moisturized them a little bit better. So that was really something that I really did notice and I liked a lot. The application around my eyes was fairly easy. I did like it under my eyes, but I did notice that I did have automatic creasing on my eyelids. And I also did notice that with my eyeshadow that I did put on, I did have creasing both an hour into and also I did have creasing now at the end of the day. Although I did smooth it out right now for recording, you can still kind of see, I don't know if you can see that, but you can still see that it is still creasing. So I would definitely skip this and use something else on my eyelids, especially if you're going to use eyeshadow. But even if you don't use eyeshadow, you are going to see those lines. So it's just not good. But however, I didn't see any problems or issues on any of my other wrinkles or on the sides of my nose or around my mouth lines. So that wasn't an issue at all. Now, how it felt. On my skin, It feels very moisturizing. I actually enjoyed it. It does have a little bit of tackiness when you first apply it, so that really grips your foundation, which I prefer. There was no dry feeling at all. It almost felt a little bit greasy in the beginning, but eventually once it starts sinking into your skin, that feeling does go away, and it did leave my face feeling very moisturized. Now the look on my skin, it does slightly blur. It's not very blurring, but it does slightly blur your pores. A little bit on your lines, not too much, but it does do a little bit of that work. As far as the look on my skin, it's not a matte. It definitely is more of a satin type finish, a luminous to satin type of a finish on your skin. So you are going to have a little bit of a glow, but it's not going to be a very strong glow. Around my eyes, I do have very watery eyes. So occasionally I will have them water for absolutely no reason. If I have to go out to let the dog out, then that's usually when that cold air hits my eyes start to water. And I did notice that it does sting a little bit, and I think that if you just don't put it on your eyelids, you're not going to have that issue. On the bottom, I just tapped it away and it was fine, and kind of blended it back and it was fine. But I did notice a little bit of stinging, so you have to be very careful with that. So I definitely would say that I really enjoy this under my eyes. It's very moisturizing, as I said earlier, and I think I do prefer the 50. It's a little bit thicker. The 30 is runnier and it's thinner, but for me personally, I like the consistency of the thicker one because it seems to be a little tiny bit more moisturizing on my right hand side than on my left, and that I'm always looking for that. It feels very soft and supple, but it doesn't feel greasy. Would I buy this again? I absolutely would buy it again. And it's one of those things that I would probably continue to use around my eyes, or I should say under my eyes. And since it does really moisturize, and I don't have any issues at the end of the day with any cracking or any tightness of any kind, where I do with a lot of other sunscreens. Luckily, this one doesn't seem to do that. I do have one other, but I have 2 sunscreens that I've tried this year out of 12 or more that are actually moisturizing under the eyes. So for that, I would definitely buy this. I think it's really nice and compact. It's very thin, and you don't have to use as much because you don't have that thickness to get it all over. You have the nice light fluid, and it just doesn't require as much. So when I first saw this, I thought it was kind of, too small for the price, but I believe this is pretty much going to last me quite a while. So yeah, I would definitely buy this again. So I would recommend it. And there are others out there that cost less, absolutely. So if you want to try it, give it a try. If it's a little bit too pricey for you, I believe it is about $25 for this tube. I'll put it right here, the price. But if it's a little bit too pricey, there's a lot of other products out there that you can use. And yeah, we're going to discover them together. I hope you like this review and consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you very soon.